This is your pub, Pauline.
Yes, it is. I'm part owner in the pub with my girlfriend. So I've had it for about 7 years now. No, a bit longer than that, 8 or 9 years, yes.
You lived in that area for a while. I'm going to be up in Maitland in about a week, I reckon. Do you do a good snitty?
Listen, come and visit the pub, okay? You'll be surprised. Great beer there, and it's all, microbreweries. So it's great. Get away from the normal tap beer, and it's great meals as well. So try it out. It's on Hunter Street.
I just might give it a go. How about that for some free advertising?
High Street. Sorry, I got that wrong. High Street. Yeah. Maitland.
Yes, High Street, Maitland.
Yes.
Well, I'll be there, so we'll check it out. I'll have to give a report. Now, tell us about this by-election. It's only a state by-election. It's very important for Gladys Berejiklian. Is it the fact that the coal industry is at the centre of it that makes it one of national significance?
Most definitely. I've been on the ground today, and Mark Latham's been on the polling booth, and I was there yesterday and also last Saturday. People are actually, it's job security and jobs in the area, and coal is a big factor in this, and people want their jobs, and that's most important. The cost of living is escalating as well. I think having Dale McNamara, my candidate, he's a local, he's grown up in the area, he's got pubs, he's a successful businessman. He doesn't need to get into politics, but he wants to, because he's fed up and seeing what's happening in his hometown, what's happening. Chris, this is happening all around the country. They're not putting the money back in rural and regional areas. It stays in the cities. They've been forgotten for infrastructure projects. So it's very important. And I tell you what, I think it's going to give it a hell of a shake-up. I don't believe the Nationals have got it. They're not getting preferences from anyone. There's 13 candidates in this race. Labor are sending preferences to the Greens, who want to destroy the coal mining industry and shut down the coal mines. So, the minor parties, I think, could do quite well here. Haven't got myself over the line. Please don't think that I have. But it's not going to be so, the Nats or the Labor thinking they've got the seat. I don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah,
you'd have to be an absolute mathematical genius to predict what's going to happen here, because there are so many candidates. Yep. And your problem might be, though, because you've got One Nation, because you've got also the shooters and fishers, because you've got other independents, but none of those are going to finish second. You might have Labor finishing second, and that might help the Nats win it on preferences.
Well, if it comes down to the Nats if the Nats and the Labor, well, then their preferences won't be distributed to each other. So then you've got the minor parties. Now, One Nation and the Shooters, Farmers, Fishers Party, we're actually swapping preferences, meaning we're only advising a recommendation to our voters to put the other party second on the voting ticket. But Nats haven't got anything. They've got no preferences from anyone. They won't win it on 50%. They won't get there. So they've got to rely on preferences. Will the Labor Party give preferences to the Labor voters, give preferences to the Nats? And as you said, if it comes down to those two, their preferences won't be distributed. So it will come down to the minor parties and the independents.
And by the way, that's exactly the sort of noise I expect to hear on the main street at Maitland on a Friday night, that V8 just scrolling by. Now, the real issue here, though, I think that the real take out of this, because as I say, predicting a winner is almost impossible, but what we've seen is the Labor Party, the Labor candidate, get firmly behind the coal industry. The local federal Labor MP, Joel Fitzgibbon, making much of that as well. Do you think there's any possibility that Labor federally are realising they need to get behind the industry and more reliable power generally, or is this just something they're playing in a local case for a local by-election?
It's all smoke and mirrors. Joel Fitzgibbon changed his tune after the last federal election when he came within 800 votes of losing his seat to the One Nation. The fact is that they know the writing's on the wall. They're destroying this community in the Upper Hunter and with coal jobs. Now, tell me, why would the Labor Party send preferences to the Greens? Greens want to get rid of coal mining. So it doesn't make sense to me. Their candidate, he's the one that actually did the EBA agreements for the coal miners, which has undermined their agreements. It's the lies have been put out about One Nation, and the industrial relations that we actually approved on the floor of Parliament was looking after those coal miners, their jobs. We were actually, support casualisation as far as after a year of working, you have that right to go and get permanent employment if you so wish. So they've actually lied about One Nation and this whole electorate that we are behind coal mining.
There we go. That bloke
Terrible.
certainly wants to make
no.
Now, just before I let you go, I think we've got...
the only party, we are the only party supporting the coal mining industry. Chris, I've never backed away from it. We need coal-fired power stations.
I just want to go to the school climate action protests around the country today. I think we've got some pictures of them. They rolled out in most of the capital cities, people getting out, certainly in Sydney, braving some colder than usual weather and a bit of rain to have this. So, look, why would kids go to school and learn about maths and English and history when they can take the day off here and save the planet? I just wondered whether there's been any climate action protests in the Hunter Valley today.
Absolutely no protest rally that I've seen with regards to that. The kids are being brainwashed in our educational system, and I actually spoke to two lefties, I've got to say, and they're saying about coal mining. I said, yes, I totally support it. And they said, why don't we redirect money into educating people about climate change and everything like that? And I said, is that going to save people the cost of living? Is that going to stop manufacturing industry going overseas because we can't afford to give them cheap, reliable power? I don't understand their way of thinking. They want to save the planet, but they're driving an old bloody bomb in the street.
All right, thanks for joining us, Pauline. I appreciate it.
All right.